Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
You are now certified as graduates from the Los Angeles Unified School District, class of 2016.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about crazy encounters that I've had riding the bus. I've taken the bus all my 4 years of high school, my first year of college, and now my second year of college. So I've encountered many things, and I've seen many things, heard many things, and it's crazy. People are crazy, especially when everyone's trying to get to work, to school. People get mad. People get angry. So in this video, I will talk about two to three encounters that I've had. Okay, so the first one was in high school when I used to take two buses to school. It was about a 35-40 minute ride. So I got on my first bus, right? And these buses have 3 doors. The one you go into and then 2 separate exits. So I got on the bus and I went all the way to the back and I stood right next to the last exit. And as I was standing there, I realized this older gentleman who was around like 60 years old maybe, he was standing up with a cart of boxes stacked on top of each other, which looked like fruit boxes. So like I think he was gonna go sell them or something. So he was taking up a lot of space, but what he did instead was, since he was standing next to the handicapped spots, he picked up the chairs, pushed them against the wall, and ended up taking about 5 spaces. So I was like, okay, whatever, I didn't mind as long as nobody wanted to sit down. So he's standing there, and as the bus is going along, on like the 3rd stop, this younger gentleman comes on the bus, and he stands next to the older gentleman that was already there. Okay, fine, whatever. As he's standing there, I realized that the older gentleman that was there, we're gonna name him David, and then the younger gentleman that came in, we're gonna name him Luis. So David was just staring down Luis like if he had done something to him, and I was just like keeping an eye out, like, because I can already feel the tension and feel that David is getting upset. And all of a sudden I hear, hey, you need to get to the back of the bus. And I turn around and David is now yelling at Luis. He's like, you need to go to the back of the bus where you belong and this and that. And I'm like, what the, I was just staring at him like, what the hell are you saying, So I'm looking at him, and then out of nowhere, I see David put his fingers like this into Luis's mouth. He's like, you need to go to the back of the bus, and he like put his fingers in his mouth. I don't know if he wanted to choke him. I don't know what he wanted to do, but just imagine you're standing there and a stranger's fingers are in your mouth right now. What the hell do you do? So from what I could tell, Luis did not speak any English, and David did. So when David was yelling at Luis, he looked confused. He didn't seem to understand what he was telling him. But obviously you can tell when someone is angry, no matter the language or no matter where they're from, because you can tell when someone is upset. So once he put his hands on him like that, or his fingers in his mouth like that, I yelled at David, and I'm like, hey, what the hell are you doing, You can't be putting your hands on people like that. What's wrong with you? He's like, you need to mind your own business, you effing, and I don't know what. And I'm just like, excuse me, no, I'm not going to mind my own business. You can't be putting your hands on people. I'm going to call the cops, And he's like, you can do whatever the hell you want, and this and that. And what pisses me off the most about situations like this is that other people don't say anything. Other people don't stand up for others. Like, I'm here like 5'4", and this gentleman is like 5'8", and I'm here staring up at him like, you don't do that to people, okay? And it's like, why can't other people back him up, back me up, get in between, prevent things from happening, right? So that's something that really, really upsets me, when people don't help others when they have the opportunity to do so. So I yelled at him and whatever. Luis ended up moving to the back because obviously, he's freaking putting his hands on him. So whatever. I continued my way and I got off of the bus. That happened. So the next day, I took obviously the same bus because I'm going on the same route to school. So I get on, but this time I go to the middle of the bus. So I take the middle exit. And I'm standing there, I'm looking forward, and I notice there's a gentleman in front of me, but I don't know who it is. And I see him move a little bit to the right, and I see a cart with boxes of fruits. And of course, it's David. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Like, I just yelled at this guy yesterday and I'm standing right behind him. Whatever. If he doesn't say anything to me or do anything to me or anyone else, there's no reason for me to do anything or say anything to him. So the bus is going and I see that he's kind of like tilting this way. I'm behind him, right? So he's kind of like tilting this way as if he wanted to show me something. And I'm like, what the hell? So when he stops doing that, I'm like already looking above him and seeing like, hey, what does this guy have? So on one occasion where the bus, like, I don't know if he turned or something, he was going this way, and I see that he has a knife in his hand. It was in his right hand, and he had a napkin wrapped around it, and he had it like this, right by his stomach. And I was like, what is this guy gonna do? And I realized that there was a gentleman standing directly next to him who appeared to be Mexican, and he's standing there and he's looking at his hand because he sees that he has a knife in it. And he doesn't do anything. He looks kind of uncomfortable, but he doesn't do anything. So David now is just kind of showing off his knife in his hand. And my mom was also on the bus with me, but she was in the back. And I'm not going to turn around and be like, hey, mom, this guy has a knife. I don't want to make a huge scene because what if he goes crazy and wants to stab everyone? Like, I don't know. So instead, on the next stop, which happened to be my stop, I got off the middle exit, went back to the front, and let the driver know. I'm like, hey, you need to get this guy off of the bus because he has a knife in his hand and he can't have a weapon out in public like that. And he's like, he yells at the guy, he's like,
hey, yo, in the middle, you need to get off of my bus. You can't be in here with that.
And he gets off of the bus. But he ends up getting off, obviously, where I'm getting off because I just told the driver. So now I'm trying to hurry to my other bus to catch it and get on as soon as possible and head to school. So I don't wait for him to get off, but I continue my way and I ended up calling my mom and I'm like, hey, did the guy get off of the bus? She's like, yeah, the driver kicked him off. I'm not sure why. And I told her, I was like, oh, it's because he had a knife in his hand and I'm going to go tell the driver that he needs to get him off of the bus. And she's like, that's crazy. And I didn't want to tell her in the moment because I feel like my mom was going to get scared or it was going to make the situation even worse for her. And I just decided to tell her after. So that happened. That was really scary because you have no idea what that person might do. You know, if I had screamed, if I had yelled that he has a knife, like what is he gonna do? Is he gonna just start hurting everyone? Is he gonna want to hide it? You know, I don't know what to expect from that. So in situations like that, it's always hard to know what to do. Because if you call the cops, of course they're gonna get there, but you don't know if they're gonna get there in time before something bad occurs. So it's just, you have to think in the moment and try to do what is best for everyone in the situation. So that happened. And another encounter was when I was on my second bus. It was not the same day, obviously. It was probably like a couple weeks later. This gentleman was sitting down on one of the very first seats of the bus. And then this younger gentleman comes on. The bus was really full. It's really packed. Always really busy. And the younger gentleman that came in stood right in front of the older gentleman sitting down, and he held himself on the bars that are on the bus. So he's holding himself, and all of a sudden I hear the one who was sitting down say, you need to get the hell out of my face, you can't be standing in front of me, and this, the bus is busy, what do you want him to do, like
disappear?
Like, it's busy, it's packed, everyone wants to get, to work, to school on time, and he's over here yelling at this guy to get out of his face, and that he's bothering him, and I don't know what. So he's over here like harassing this guy and yelling at him and verbally like abusing him. And I'm like, hey, he's not bothering you. He can stand wherever he wants to, If it's bothering you, you can get up and move. And he just stared at me like, what do you mean he's not bothering me? He's clearly standing too close to me and in front of me. I'm like, well, the bus is busy. What do you want me to do? If you feel like you deserve better treatment, go get your own car. Why are you riding the bus in the first place, I hate those people who are on the bus and want their own little bubble. Like, there's no personal space when you're on the bus. People are directly in front of you, directly behind you, next to you, everywhere. So don't expect people to give you personal space when the bus is completely packed and busy. So he was getting upset. He stopped saying what he was saying. And I realized that when I responded to him, his wife was in front of him with 2 kids. And I'm saying his wife because he had the stroller and she had the 2 kids. So as I'm yelling at him, she's staring at me and I'm like, oh my gosh, his wife is gonna say something to me. Why am I yelling at her husband? But she didn't. She actually looked at me in fear, like she was afraid. And I was like, like, what's wrong? Does this guy hurt you? Like, I had so many thoughts in my head that what did this guy do for this lady to look at me in such fear? Like I said, he stops yelling. We continue on our ride. The next day, I get on the same bus to school, and I go to the back. When I go in the bus, I'm not looking around to see who's there, who's not there. Like, sometimes my friends will be there and I didn't even notice them until, like, they're like, hey, Michelle, like, come sit over here. So I got on the bus and I went all the way to the back. And in the back, the seats are actually facing each other. They're not facing forward anymore. So I sat down, and when I looked up, I realized that the same guy that I had just yelled at the other day was there with his wife and the 2 kids. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, this is kind of awkward, but whatever. I'm not going to move just because you're there. So I sat there. I continued on my bus ride. A couple minutes later, he just stands up, moves, and goes to the front. And I'm just like, why would you move? There's no reason for you to move. You had a seat right there with your family. But he decides to go in the front. And the wife, again, is just staring at me. I don't think I said this, but the guy is huge. He's tall, like huge. Huge comparing to me, because I'm like 5'4". He was like 5'10", 5'11", and I'm like staring at this huge, bigger built guy. And I was scared when I did tell him what I told him, but I would rather be scared there those 10 seconds that I'm speaking up for someone than have this like horrible feeling in my stomach when I don't help someone or when I don't speak up. Because it's like, when I do say something, I'm scared when I do it, but I'm doing it for the right reasons. And when I don't say something, I regret it because I could have helped someone out. So it's a hard decision in a hard situation, because I don't know whether I should say something or whether I shouldn't. Is it going to help the situation? Is it going to make it worse? So it's hard sometimes. So that happened, right? So another situation also happened. I didn't necessarily speak up in the situation, but I'm going to tell you what happened. I was riding on the bus again. It was really busy as always, and this lady was coming by, but she was trying to get to the back of the bus. But of course, there's people everywhere in the middle, so she's kind of like making her way through the middle to get to the back. But she was not saying, excuse me. She was not saying, can I pass through, please? Nothing. She's just passing by, pushing people. People would just look at her like with a, like, what the, like, excuse me, but wouldn't say anything. So I was standing right where there's like 2 stairs to get to the back of the bus, and I was holding onto the poles like this. I'm like, she has to say, excuse me, if she wants to pass by. So she gets to me and she's like, I'm like, yes. I didn't say yes, but I'm just like saying at her like, uh-huh. And she's like, excuse me, in Spanish, like, permiso. And I was like, okay, go ahead, please pass by. As long as you respect me and others, I'm totally fine. But respect is such a huge thing for me. Like, I don't care who you are, where you come from, whether you're a janitor, whether you're the president. That's not good. Whether you're a janitor, whether you're a lawyer, whatever, I'm gonna respect you exactly the same way. And if you don't respect me, I'm not going to. Like, there's no reason for me to give you any respect if you don't respect me and others. And it's just like, it's always a thing. That's always been a thing for me. If I see others disrespect others, I have no respect for you, whether I know you or not. I just don't. I'm standing there and I waited for her to say excuse me. She passes by or whatever, and all of a sudden I hear her screaming in the back. She's like, you guys are all disgusting and this and that. And she thinks she is of a higher class. She thinks that all of the men that were in the back, the majority of the people who were sitting in the back were men, and she thinks that they all want to get at her or disrespect her, but none of them were actually trying to talk to her. She gets off of the bus and she starts yelling, and she's still yelling, she's cursing, she's flipping them off, but they are just laughing because they're confused, like, what is she talking about? We don't want her, we don't want to get at her. So they're just laughing, and I just let it go as well. But as she got off of the bus, she just like flipped everyone off, and I'm like, what the hell, like, this lady is crazy. I always see her on the bus and she's constantly like, oh my god, like, I'm too good for this, and like, if you really are, shouldn't you be driving your own car? Or as a matter of fact, wouldn't you have your own like chauffeur driving you around instead of you riding in public transportation? Like, come on, like, if you think you're really better than everyone, what are you doing here? And there's so many people who ride the bus. You never know. Some people are homeless, some are teachers, some are professors who actually take the bus because they either can't afford it or they prefer to take public transportation, which I don't think anyone prefers to take the bus, especially when it's really busy, there's a lot of traffic and this and that. I guess the moral of this story time could be that speak up for people, speak up for others, because hopefully you don't need it, but let's say one day you do and you need someone to help you in a situation, people aren't going to do it. So help others out. Don't be afraid. you're doing the right thing by helping others, especially if there's a language barrier. The area that I live in is populated by a lot of Hispanics and people from Mexico, Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras. They're very populated from people who are from there, so there is a language barrier and people tend to need help. You know, they tend to need others to look out for them because they can't communicate, they don't understand, and it's just something that really sucks because I grew up helping my mom translate when we're at the store, like how much is her total, or when she's asking for something, I was there. Or, you know, when you're paying a bill or something, you're the one translating. So I grew up doing that, and I continue to do it for others who don't have, you know, who don't have children or don't have family members who are there every step of the way, translating for them and helping them out. So it's very important to do so. I think so. And like I said, I would rather have those seconds of fear than have the whole day of having like this knot in my stomach of, man, you could have helped that person out, like that person really needed it. I don't remember the situation exactly, but I remember once I didn't say anything and I didn't speak up. I think it was for a lady too, that she was being yelled at by some teenagers or something, and I remember I didn't say anything at the moment, but throughout the whole day I felt so sick. Like I couldn't deal with myself. I didn't say anything, I didn't help this person out, and it sucked. Like, it saddened me, it made me upset. I'm like, really? Like, you should have done it, you should have gone for it, you know, whatever the outcome would have been, you would have said something, you would have stood up for this lady. So, alright guys, so that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to, it's over here being a gymnastic. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading more videos. I will start school next week, so I'm not sure what my video schedule is going to be, but for sure it's going to be at least once a month if I can, and I will try so hard to have videos more frequently throughout the month. But of course, school is my priority right now. I'm entering my second semester of my sophomore year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye guys!
You are now certified as graduates from the Los Angeles